Hi everyone, how you all doing? Good afternoon. Well, I know I've been coming on different times, but oh my goodness, this past week I've had so much to do, and we had a lot of rain, so I just had a lot on my plate. Oh boy, there's so much happening in our little country, Jamaica, that boy, everybody say we have to pray, but a lot of people have been doing that for a very long time. But we just really need to change the way we think as a people, how we train our children, things that we put out into the society, because they always say children live what they learn. And it is sad what's happening. I want to give my condolences to the young lady that was killed yesterday at Kingston Technical High School. It's just so sad. It is just so sad. It is just so sad. On behalf of both families, it is sad. It is just unfortunate. We can't allow, more of these things happening in our society. We have to sit down and get back to the drawing board, figure out what is wrong, where all of this is coming from. I know, well, we know where some of it is coming from. But we have to do something about it. All well and good to say pray, but we have to do action as well. How we grow our children. A lot of things we need to do. In society, everything, all of us have a part to play. And not you grow your children, because you have a lot of parents who do their best for their children, and sometimes they tend to deviate, go off track. So we as a society have to know what we're doing. Oops, give me a second, I think I hear. Excuse me folks. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. The taxi came to drop off an envelope, so I had to run out there to get it. Alright folks, so I wanted to do some more of my reading. So welcome to those who have joining me, and thanks for those who have visited my YouTube page, Karen's Vibes. So it's Karen Vibes with an exclamation sign. So please remember, when you go on, to like, subscribe and share. My tongue just up a while ago. Say subscribe. Oh my goodness, my face looks so greasy. When I wash my face, and like a minute or two, to start getting very oily. I'm not sure why. Anyway, alright, so the last time we had stopped at so let me just remind you that I am reading the book Welcome Back, Old Iron Blue, and it's written by Elkanah Rolle, and it's narrated by moi, Karen Weir. Alright, so we had stopped at where Old Iron Blue went into the bar to drink some rum with skunk teeth and belly side. So we had stopped. So if you're following me, my other video, the last video I uploaded, you'll see where I stopped. Alright, so let's delve into it. So sit back, get a cool drink, and enjoy. It's actually now afternoon. So get something cool, sit back and enjoy my reading. Let's see. Alright, so let's just start back here. Because this is where we had stopped, but I just start back at the top. Drink your rum. After you finish, I will take you to the back of the premises to let you speak to the operator. I remember when Old Iron Blue went into the bar and he said he was wanting the boombox, he was wanting what it was and how it operates. So, I think he had a belly side or Kang Teeth said, drink your rum. After you finish, I will take you to the back of the premises to let you speak to the operator. He will answer any question you have. He will answer any question you want to know about the thing playing the music. On second thought, I don't want to know anything more about that dancing thing. It sounds as if it will damage people. Give me my rum. Water is the best thing to chase rum. Give me a bottle of water to chase it. So here's where story come to bump now. Old Iron Blue requested. The dog was staring intently at the men drinking. Ha ha ha, laughed Kang Teeth. It seemed as if your dog wants a drink of white rum too. It seemed Bulrush understood their remarks as he immediately jumped to his feet and wandered off. What a dog sensible. They all laughed. The bartender gave him his half glass of strong rum. Listen this now. By mistake, instead of giving him a bottle of water to chase the rum, he was given a bottle of rum. So the bartender made the mistake and she no realized that him not want to say nothing because the way him crib. By mistake, instead of giving him a bottle of water to chase the rum, he was given a bottle of rum. So rum and rum. He was happy for his good fortune and told no one of the mistake. He kept on pouring himself more and more drink. His throat burnt and his tongue scorched as he drank the fiery liquid. No one was paying him much attention as nearly everyone was doing his own thing. The more sober in the group were talking about the impending federal elections and Jamaicans' positions in the West Indies Federation. Their attention was again drawn to Old Iron Blue. His baton fell heavily from his hand and he took no notice of it. When he began to speak, his voice was garbled and slurred, a true indication that he was completely drunk. Everyone burst into laughter. Imagine 2 drinks of rum diluted with almost a whole quart of water drunk in, remarked Bellyside in surprise. Look, he continued, of the quart bottle of water he received to chase his rum, only this little remains in the bottle. He can't even stand up to rum and water. If he drank as much rum as me, he would die. And if it's proof rum, and it is proof from I drink instead of the Jimmy John. Old Iron Blue swayed and staggered. Then he fell heavily to the ground. He began to groan agonizingly. Everyone was becoming concerned about his condition. What was really wrong? Could 2 drinks of rum really knock him out like that? Laughed Mr. Butters as he took up the bottle with the remaining liquid to dilute his rum. He poured a little and tasted his rum. It was just as strong. He put the bottle to his mouth and tasted the small amount that remained. It was strong. It was strong, undiluted rum. Gentlemen, exclaimed Mr. Butters. You know what the greedy brute has done? No, what is it? Tell us. He used white rum to chase white rum. Exclaimed Mr. Butters, refusing to laugh. My gosh, exclaimed the bartender, looking at the empty bottle. By mistake, I gave him a bottle of rum instead of a bottle of water. That is strong rum. It will cut him heartstring. I really don't want to contend with any dead man now. Let me call the bar owner, Mr. McIntosh. Let him stay there and die. That will teach him a lesson, came an advice from a man who was half sober. He will learn never to use rum to dilute rum. If you let him stay there and die, Mr. Mackin, if you let him stay there and die, he will learn never to use rum to dilute rum. If you let him stay there and die. Mr. McIntosh came quickly from the grocery section of the shop. It is my rum, he said, but I can't allow him to stay there and die. What will he learn when he's dead? Exactly, that's a good question. Boy, he called to one of his sons with some alarm in his voice. Quickly get 2 civil oranges from the tree behind the shop for me. I need it urgently to make some lemonade to save old Iron Blue's life. In less than 2 minutes, McIntosh came around the counter with a butter pan full of lemonade. He asked the more sober of the men to lift him into a sitting position while he held the pan to his mouth. Drunk as he was, they had no difficulty in getting him to drink. He drank every drop. Mr. Butters suggested they take him outside, as he would soon begin to vomit. They scarcely reached outside before he began. The good and kind shopkeeper watched over him until he began to revive. He put him to sit on a stone at the side of the shop. The men went back into the shop. Their main conversation, as could be predicted, was on the greediness of old Iron Blue. While he sat alone in the dark outside as night came down, they talked until their conversation drifted into other areas. They soon forgot all about him. After about an hour, one man suddenly remembering asked, "What happened to old Iron Blue? Is he still sitting on the stone outside?" He stepped outside, shone his flashlight on the stone where he sat, but he was not there. They thought he must have ambled home. They could hardly imagine anything else. Early the following morning, Mr. Chambers, on his way to his field, heard someone crying for help by a little bamboo root near the edge of a precipice at a place called Turning Brookway. Let me name your brother. Mr. Chambers was frightened. He wondered whether it was a living person or a ghost. He stood for a while in the road. He shivered a little, partly because of the cool morning breeze and the sound he heard. Mr. Thomas rounded the bend. Let me tell you guys, I have a little list, so forgive me. Mr. Thomas rounded the bend, walking very quickly. He was known for the way he scurried about. He seemed to be dashing here and dashing there as a mad ant. "Are you getting insane?" he asked. "Why are you standing here alone?" Before he could finish speaking, the cry came for help again. The 2 men looked at each other. "Let us go and see who is there," stated Mr. Thomas, looking very puzzled. It was as if they wanted to go, but feared what they would see. I know that feeling. You want to do something, but you have the fear that is in you. You have to, if and but. They stepped off the road toward the bamboo root. "Who is there?" asked Mr. Chambers. Me, old Iron Blue, sir," replied an enfeebled voice. "Old Iron Blue, how did you reach there, and why don't you come out?" asked Mr. Chambers, looking quite surprised. "I can't get up. I feel sick and weak. I don't know where my dog Bulrush is. I hope them boys don't lick out his eyes with stones." He mean a whole lot they worry about Bulrush. Well, I'm a lot of person who love their dogs, and dogs have feelings too. Yeah. They came as near as they could. There he was, stuck between 2 bamboo plants. They began to wonder how they would possibly pull him up without endangering themselves. He needed help very quickly. If he got loose, he would go tumbling to his death down the precipice beneath. Mr. Chambers, who was living not far away, ran home for some ropes and woke up his 2 sons to come and assist. He also started crying out in the neighborhood, "All iron blue, oi! All iron blue fasten at the bamboo root, oi, oi, oi!" Everybody in the district come help we get him out. Come quickly before him rolled down in a turning brockway. The people who were near enough came running to assist. Miss Joplin was among the first to arrive. He couldn't reach there all by himself, she declared. It must be a spirit push him there. Duppy threw him down there. Anytime you see things like these, them no so. Any reasonable person could never believe that a man could come and catch up at the edge of the precipice. Any reasonable person could never believe that a man could come and catch up at the edge of the precipice like that, all by himself. So she want now say, you know, she mix up, she want to say no, it's Duppy. A lot of persons believe in ghosts. They decided that the only thing to do was for one of the skillful young fellows to tie a rope around his waist, and everyone pulled. A youth called Bang Belly was chosen. He gingerly went to the bamboo root, treading carefully on the gravel and loose soil. He tied the rope and the men began to pull. They pulled him up quickly, but the rope was tightening so badly around his waist that one of the men had to quickly use his sharp knife to cut it slightly, scarring his belly. Miss Joplin did not remain to get any explanation. She went immediately around the village telling everyone, "Duppy draw away old iron blue and catch him up a bankside." The place where he was hitched, even birds scared to fly over, she exaggerated. Mr. Chambers, looking at old iron blue, carefully said, "I'm going to take you to my home and let my wife give you some hot pussmint tea. That will do you good." "Yes, Mr. Chambers," cried one of the men. "What he needs at this time is hot pussmint tea, and I've never heard of that mint before. So I forgot to ask about that, the type of, that the name meant, hot pussmint tea, or pussmint tea. But tell your wife to put plenty sugar in it." One of the boys cried out, "Look down the precipice. Old Iron Blues had fell from his head. Where it stopped, not even drunker can fly there. If he flies over such a precipice, he would roll away and break his neck." The way he said it, everyone except Old Iron Blue had to laugh. "Why are you standing as if you are frozen, Mr. Thomas?" asked Bang Belly. I am thinking how Hearty man nearly lost his life. Can't you see that we almost had a funeral in this district?" Mr. Chambers hurriedly prepared a cup of tea. Old Iron Blue took a sip but had to spit it out hastily. "My mouth scorched up," he declared. "I can't drink it hot." "What scorched up your mouth?" asked Mr. Chambers. "Tell me, what scorched up your mouth?" Mr. Chambers insisted. "Rum. White proof rum. I shouldn't drink that rum without water." So why didn't you dilute it?" he asked sympathetically. "Not everything in this world can be explained," Old Iron Blue said with a sigh. "I wish I could tell you why I did not dilute it. I can tell him why, because he's greedy. So that's why he didn't dilute it." As soon as it was cool enough, he drank and ambled away towards his home. For 2 days he did not leave, as he could scarcely walk. Poor Old Iron Blue. The good people of the community brought him food and homemade medicines for his pains and bruises. They also sent to inform his brother Charles, who lived in Kingston. Charles came for 4 days later, but by that time he had recovered remarkably well and was up and about. Charles offered to take him to town for the weekend. He reluctantly consented after he was assured that he would get enough food to eat. I will take you to a restaurant downtown where you pay for a meal and eat as much as you want. That sounds good, he agreed with a twinkle of the eyes as his face brightened with a smile. But before I finally agree to come, I want to find out if in fact there are some thieves in town who are able to use a thing called Idlestone to remove all money from your pocket without you knowing. People tell me that anytime I go to Kingston, I must put 3 green limes in my pocket to nullify the effect of the Idlestone. That is not true, said Charles. This thing called Idlestone attracting your money is nonsense. I am not taking any chances. I am placing 3 green limes in my pocket with my money. Those town men are too trickified. Tell me, Charles, do you have many come-arounds near where you live? Who are come-arounds? Asked Charles. That's what we call the town thieves. Don't you know? We have none, replied Charles. Do you think that we can reach that place before night? He asked with a little anxiety creeping over his face. Do you think that we can catch the Macaulay bus? It is not even midday yet. The bus comes at 1:30. It does not take more than an hour to walk to Loidas Vale to catch it. Hurry up and put on your clothes. You cannot wear your ordinary clothes to town. Oh, I forgot to tell you. I have a nice lovely pair of second-hand shoes in my bag for you, as I know that you cannot wear your water boots to town. Quickly, old Iron Blue dressed. He put on his shoes. He found they were too big. My shoes are too big, he informed Charles in dismay. What will I do? I really want to drop in the restaurant to yam up some of that food. I have an idea. Good thing I did not throw away my old brown paper that were used to wrap flour. I can stuff some into the shoes. Guess a lot of us Jamaicans know that when your shoes too big, you stuff paper in it. So, this he did, and they both set off. The shoes were uncomfortable. It was difficult for him to walk the first chain in them. How was he going to walk 3 miles? He managed to walk a quarter of a mile. His walking became more erratic and jolting, almost like John Crow walking on freshly burnt ground. I can't walk any further in this old hand-me-down that you carry come and give me. The thing is tearing off my shoes. If you really want to help me, why didn't you carry a pair of new shoes that can fit me? He declared, dropping his bottom on a flat stone that lay by the roadside in a clump of flowering Spanish needles and creeping wild marigold. A few startled honeybees darted from the wild flowers, flew around them madly and darted to the sky. He quickly pulled the shoes from his feet. He tied the laces together, then drew them over his left shoulder so that one shoe rested on his chest and the other on his back. So it looked like he can't manage the shoes, so he just take them off and fling them over his shoulders and start walking with them. Then he began to walk freely, without shoes. After reaching the main road, he sat on the step of the large Chinese grocery shop. He took a piece of rag from his pocket and wiped the dust from his feet. The amount of brown paper stuffed in the oversized shoes was carefully adjusted so that it was more comfortable. The bus came, they boarded it, and rode away. Sometimes the rain have a lot of these mosquitoes. They arrived in town at about 3:30 p.m. He had passed through the city a few times but never stopped to do any business. He was not particularly keen about Kingston. He heard too many sad tales about come-arounds, pickpockets, and grab thieves. From South Parade, where they alighted, they walked down King Street. Every step he made, he complained how hungry he was. Every now and then, he felt his pocket to see if the money was still there. I am hungry until my belly is rumbling. Bulrush must be hungry too by now. But I know Bulrush can help himself. He is a sensible dog. Only that he cannot speak. Many times I see that dog trying to tell me something, but he just can't come out with the words. You bet he will find something to eat until I get back. We are just a few chains away from the restaurant, consoled his patient brother. You will soon get as much as you can to eat. I am hungry until my tripe is twisting. I am hungry like a dog. Wind taking up my belly. See, my belly is becoming as big as a gourd. Last time wind took up my belly like this, I nearly dead. But all I'm blue turtle. I would have never want to go to them. Embarrassing. Some hot mint tea saved my life. If I die now, it is hunger that kills me. Nothing else. Anytime you're coming to take people from their house. So this is a complaining to his brother. Anytime you're coming to take people from their house, you must walk with something to eat, even a shilling bread. There is a restaurant. I should have something to say. I want to get up now. There is a restaurant. All we have to do is step in, pay for 2 meals, take our trays, and take as much food as you can eat, Charles advised. Oh, this is a good place. You eat straight from your tray, not plates as they have at other restaurants, he happily concluded. Not that way, said Charles. You will take a plate and put in your tray, then go up to the counter and place your food in the plate. I hope the plates are not too small. The plates are too small that they have in restaurants nowadays, he remarked with darkening countenance. They went in, Charles paid for the meals, and they joined a line with 8 people. Old Iron Blue walked behind his brother. Charles took some rice, a piece of yam, some meat, gravy, and vegetable and walked away. By this time, there were 7 or so people behind Old Iron Blue. He took the plate from the tray, placed it on the counter, and emptied the container of rice into his tray. He proceeded and emptied the container with the meat and that with the gravy into the tray. So everything him just throw in his plate. Mercy me. He looked at the dish containing the vegetable and grumbled. Cha! I don't want any bush in my tray. I have enough of that at country. I couldn't leave country come down to town to Nyam bush. So vegetable in called bush. He took the jug, mercy me, hear this. He took the jug of drinks. All the people kept looking at each other in astonishment. He grabbed the spoon used for serving. He went and sat at the table with his brother. Charles got up, being very embarrassed, and went to sit at another table. I would have been embarrassed too. As he started eating, most of the people laughed loudly. This attracted the attention of the owner of the restaurant. One aggravated customer started quarreling loudly. Mr. Simpson, throw him out of your restaurant. Him too damn greedy and gluttonous. The line was getting longer and there was no food for the people. The aggravated owner went to his table and ordered him to leave the restaurant. But undeterred and unruffled, he kept on eating. Mr. Simpson attempted to hold onto the tray. He pushed out his mouth and opened his eyes wide. Mr. Simpson saw that there would be trouble if he made a further move. It was as if he was daring Mr. Simpson to make another move. He did not have to say it in words, just the expression on his face. His action was enough. His intentions were clear. So look at old Iron Blow. Go to the table and eat off, empty all the food into his tray. See? All the food into his tray. So now the people them can't get no food. Don't let him puff up his mouth and toad out him eyes at you. Call the police, remarked an aggravated customer. Mr. Simpson ran towards the telephone. He took it up quickly and dialed. A new customer walked in and inquired what was happening. One greedy man come in here, threw the whole plate of Mr. Simpson's food in a tray and out for yam every bit, remarked a little lady, wiping tears from her eyes as she laughed. Most of the people kept on looking at him in annoyance as he leveled the mountain in the tray, but some found it very amusing. In rushed two burly policemen, responding to Mr. Simpson's request. Show me the man who commandeered your food and let me break his jawbone with my baton, said one of the officers. After I finish with him, he will never use that mouth again. Wait, said the other. You must not be overzealous in the performance of your duty. I am the corporal. You are the constable. Wait on my instruction. We are not in such a crisis where critical judgment and fast movement will save life. Though I fear that this man could eat himself to death, I will have to ask Mr. Simpson a few questions before I proceed, stated the corporal, being very careful not to exceed his authority. Did the man pay at the cashier, he asked. Yes, sir, but, wait a while, it's Sherlock Holmes here now. Wait a while, Mr. Simpson, advised the corporal. Can you recollect what you have written on your advertisement board at the entrance of your restaurant? It says Diners Paradise Restaurant. Nothing more? Inquired the officer. Eat as much as you desire. You pay only once, grumbled Mr. Simpson, almost inaudible. So you see, it is what he had written on the outside of his restaurant, right? He said, pay once and eat all you want. And knowing Iron Blue, he went take that literally and eat everything. And knowing Iron Blue greedy. So he probably never know when I book up somebody who is that greedy. So tell me what this man has done wrong and I will take the necessary legal actions. So you see, you can't say nothing. You cannot say nothing because that was what he had written on his restaurant outside. Pay once and eat all that you want. Mr. Simpson looked at the officer, wrinkled his forehead, narrowed his eyes, and remarked, You are not a good policeman. I will have to speak to your superiors about you. I cannot please everyone, but I try to give justice. But tell me, Mr. Simpson, with a sign like that, you couldn't imagine that someday a person like this would walk in exactly